Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here tonight for another live stream. Thank you guys for joining me. Remember, I am here on most Mondays through Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube, and we have a lot to discuss. We have Israel, the spreading of Islam that we're going to talk about, and we're going to be talking about Kash Patel. He's been given a directive on what to do with these demon rats that vacated their seats. Oh, yes, we're talking about that. We're talking about a lot of things tonight. And we even have Jasmine Crockett. That's my new nickname for her. Jazzy Ratchet Ghetto Jasmine Crockett. But before we get into this video, I am going to lead off with a word of prayer. Dear God, we just thank you so much for your goodness, your kindness, your patience with us. We are grateful that you have chosen us, Father, to be your people. We pray that we are united and that we honor and we please you in every aspect of our lives. And I pray for a spirit of unity and peace amongst believers. No matter how the enemy tries to divide, that we overcome evil with good by your grace. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, Warriors, I have to give a shout out to everyone who are the first ones to actually do a chat. Iron Ear, hello. June Stanley, hello. Hey, Jane Fecto, how are you? Hello, how is everyone doing? Fed Up Patriot, shalom. He says, shalom, family. All right, who else do we have here? We've got Maga Tamara. I'm sorry. I love to say your name like that. Marla 5656. Hello. My wonderful patient husband, Calvin Bentley, too. And let's see, who else do we have? My Girls H. Hello, my girls. Hello, SK Abstract Art. Hello. You guys are so amazing. You guys were in here early. Boyd Ingram. Hello there, Boyd. How are you doing? Iron Sharpens Iron 102. Hello there, Natural Sis 64. Natural Sis, welcome. And Ranique Blackman. Hello, girl. Hello. She said, hey, Miss Linda. Oh, she did a little heart thing. Oh, thank you so much for that. Carlos Rodriguez. Hello. And I'm just, okay, that looks to be everybody. Okay, guys, we got to go ahead and get into it. We got a lot to cover tonight. I mean, this is wild. So the first thing that I want to talk about, honestly, is this whole directive that FBI Director Kash Patel has been given. All right, he's been given a directive. And what is that directive? Let me just read it for you. It says, and this is coming by way of Nick Sorter on Twitter. It says, just in, the FBI has now been asked to help locate or arrest the Democrats who fled Texas. Their stated goal was to prevent the legislature from properly meeting in violation of their oath of office, the letter to Director Patel said. The governor has ordered their arrest. Let me repeat. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, has ordered their arrest, but they're still hanging out in Illinois, and Texas can't make arrests out of state. So I am going to read this to you. This is coming from the United States Senate to the Honorable Kash Patel. It says, I write to encourage the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, to take any appropriate steps to aid in Texas state law enforcement efforts to locate or arrest potential lawbreakers who have fled the state as a maneuver to avoid legislative responsibilities. On August 3rd, 2025, many members in the Texas House of Representatives, they really just absconded from the state. Their stated goal was to prevent the legislature from properly meeting in violation of their oath of office. By leaving the state of Texas, these legislators intend to prevent the existence of a quorum in the Texas House of Representatives. Without a quorum, no legislative activity can proceed, and they know this. See, this is how the Democrats do. Remember Jamal Bowman when he pulled the fire alarm? Remember when they scream and holler and gnash their teeth like the demons in the Bible? Remember that? We got gnashing of teeth. It says, in a representative democracy, we resolve our differences by debating and voting, not by running away. Some Texas legislators have fled to New York and others have fled to Illinois. Since these state legislators are currently outside of Texas, the Texas Department of Public Safety may need support to arrest the fleeing lawmakers. So they're calling on Kash Patel because they can't do it from Texas. So, and I did skip some of this. It says this is a time-sensitive matter. The Texas legislature is currently in a special session called by Governor Abbott with around 2 weeks left. As Governor Abbott noted, when the governor calls a special session, the legislature shall meet. The absence of a quorum prevents key votes on important areas of concern for Texans. For example, the recent Kerrville floods, which caused unbearable tragedy and destruction, is just one issue that needs to be addressed in this legislative session. Okay, and this is coming from John Cornyn, who is the United States Senator. All right, so FBI Director Kash Patel, book them, Dano, get them, Cash, locate them or arrest them. Oh, that is what is up. Oh, I am so here to see it. I am so here to see it, you guys. And let me just tell you something. This is not going to go the way the Democrats want it to go. They're screaming and hollering. And you know the thing about, we're going to get to Jasmine Crockett in just a moment. She is so full of herself. She is so arrogant. She is so loud and just combative. I just really, really can't stand the fact that Democrats use someone like that. You know, that is what they think of certain groups of people. I'm just being honest. If you don't know that, just look at who they have yelling and screaming and hollering. That is who they think, you know, we should be listening to. That's what they think of us. So the next thing I want to cover is actually, this is a clip from Piers Morgan. This is a really good clip, and this is about Israel, what's really going on in Israel. You guys know that I am very pro-Israel. We're going to get to the really good stuff in just a moment, but because I'm going to let you hear how, what I really want to share with you is how Jasmine Crockett gets her A squared handed to her on a silver platter. Yes, her behind is handed right back to her when she starts yapping about all of this so-called racism. And she literally, and I'm going to show you this clip. It's a few minutes long, but it is worth the watch. She literally gets calmly blown out of the water. Literally. The woman is very calm. She's not loud about it. She's cool, calm, and collected. And the woman's name is Katrina Pearson, who is a Texas conservative and a former Trump advisor. I'm going to show you that clip after a couple of other clips. These clips have to do with Israel and Hamas. I did a video today about Islam possibly taking over America. Is that the plan? If you haven't seen that video, please go and see it. But this woman right here is on the Piers Morgan show, and she literally hands their behind to them on a silver platter.
I want to start with the accusation of the occupation. Israel was minding its own business ever since it existed. It reached out to the Arabic world. It wanted to have peace with the Arabic world. In 1964, when the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, was founded, the West Bank was in the hands of Jordan. It was Jordan. And Gaza was in the hands of Egypt. It was Egypt. So the PLO was founded in 1964, not because of any occupation. They wanted to drive the Jews into the sea and get rid of every single Jew in the Middle East. Israel tried repeating. The only reason the Palestinians lost in 67 and they lost Gaza and the West Bank is because they preempted an attack against Israel. And over again, Israel reached out to them to make peace with them. In 2000, Ehud Barak offered them 97% of the territories back, and they refused it again and again and again. In 2005, when Israel withdrew out of Gaza, they said, okay, we're going to give you your own state. We're going to give you your own territory. Israel forcibly removed its own people fighting the IDF by force, removed them out of Gaza. Not only to remove the people, they dug out dead Jews' bones from the cemeteries because they knew exactly what the Palestinians are going to do to the cemeteries. So in 2005, when Israel withdrew out of Gaza, there wasn't one Jew alive or dead in Gaza. They turned over the key to them and said, okay, great. Now build your own place. You are independent. I know people that Israel even left them the greenhouses. Israel was exporting 50 million flowers to Europe in 2004 out of Gaza. The greenhouses, the fruits, the vegetables, the flowers. They left them to the Palestinians so the Palestinians can start they can have an industry where they can support themselves. I know a businessman from New York who even raised $14 million to make sure the Palestinians will be able to get paid salaries as they move over and they continue building the greenhouses. And what did the Palestinians do within 24 hours after Israel withdrew? Not only they destroyed every single Jewish synagogue in the area, they destroyed the greenhouses, ripped out the pipe, and even stole the copper out of the pipe. And then they had an election. So in their first election, the first woman elected to the cabinet of Hamas was a woman by the name Nidal, the mother of al-Mukawama, they called her, the mother of the resistance. And she ran on the platform, I killed 3 of my sons, because she had videos of her sons, she dressing them in suicide bombers to go kill Israelis. She said, I already gave up 3 for the cause. I have another 7 to give. That's why she was elected. So that's a democratic election for Hamas. Israel did not put the Palestinians in a prison in Gaza. Hamas put the Palestinians in a prison in Gaza. Gaza could have been turned into Singapore. They had the money. They had more money pouring into the Palestinian territories and still do from all over the world. And what did they do with it? Build a tunnel infrastructure underneath bigger than the subway system in New York instead of helping their people. So those who scream about the occupation, the Palestinians have brought this on themselves again and again and again.
Wow.
And amen to that. Okay, that is her, Bridget, right there, schooling Piers Morgan and the other guests. And I just want to say that the lies that have been going out about Israel causing, the death of a group of people, that's not true. They were attacked first, October 7th, 2023. They sent out flyers warning people, we're trying to get to Hamas, get out of the way. And then you got people like Candace Owens out here spewing Jew hatred, literal Jew hatred. This is pathetic. And to call out a nation like other nations don't have an evil government. Let's just be clear. We got issues in our own government, especially with the last administration. We got issues. And we got people now that still want to do things that we don't agree with. Those of us on the conservative side who are Christian. Okay, we don't agree with those things. There's evil in every government. But for Candace to specifically point out Israel as being demonic and that she would rather saw off her foot, she has been captured, okay, by something demonic. While she's talking about somebody else being demonic, she better check her own self, okay? But that is Bridget laying it down what really, really happened. Israel has always bent over backwards. You heard what she said, them giving everything to the Palestinians, getting completely out, no Jew dead or alive. You guys have it. And whatever Israel gave them, they ripped it up. There was just no pleasing them, And so we're going to go on to the next one. I just got to show y'all this one too. This is he was a former Republican candidate for president, Mike Huckabee. He has a little bit to say right here.
The insanity that we're dealing with right now is that there are so many European nations, so many Americans who are angry at Israel for the suffering in Gaza. Mark, there is one reason that there is suffering in Gaza. It's the same reason that 1,200 people were massacred on October the 7th. It's the same reason that 250 people were taken hostage. 50 of them continue to be held hostage and tortured. And that's because of Hamas. They're a terror organization, and they've acted like it. And all of this time, Israel has done everything it can. They've made, I don't know how many different offers in order to get the hostages out to end this. Hamas always walks away, always says no. And for some crazy reason, the Europeans and people around the world are blaming Israel for this. I can't get my arms around what the rationale is, but it doesn't make any sense.
And let me say, it doesn't in a way make sense, but in a way it does make sense. I hate to say it. Okay, I'm going to read you all some scriptures the Bible talks about the fact that all nations are going to turn against Israel. I mean, we can't get past the Bible. Okay, the Bible is the true biblical, is the word of God. It is so true. And here are some scriptures right here. Zechariah 14. This chapter describes a future battle where all nations will gather against Jerusalem. The Lord will then intervene, fighting against those nations and ultimately establishing his rule over the entire earth. Ezekiel chapters 38 to 39. These chapters focus on a future invasion of Israel by Gog, a figure from the land of Magog and his forces. The passage details a great battle where God will intervene to protect Israel and demonstrate his power to the nations. Joel 3, chapter 3, verse 2 of the book of Joel. This verse mentions God gathering all nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat to judge them for their actions against Israel and his people. And there are many other scriptures. There's even a scripture that says, and again, Zechariah 14 talks about all nations are going to turn against Israel. That's Zechariah chapter 14. All means all, even the United States of America. I hate to, be the bearer of, bad news, but in a way it's good news because we're closer to spending eternity with the Lord. So this is no surprise to me and those of us who study a little bit of end time prophecies and things of that nature. These things, unfortunately, have to happen. And next, I'm going to share with you Jazzy Ratchet Ghetto Crockett, Jasmine Crockett. Now, she is here. She's in the, she's threatened over the fact that she feels like her seat is going to be taken away. And yes, and she is very upset. Okay. And she is going to be schooled by Katrina Pearson, who is a Texas conservative and a former Trump advisor. I want you all to listen to what Jasmine is saying. Now, the demon rats bring race into everything. That's just what they do. But listen to what she actually says.
First of all, it is a shame that we sit here and y'all pretend as if you care about what the people have to say, but we are going to make y'all listen as long as you will. This map does nothing but divide, distract, and depress. There is this idea that was put out there during his opening remarks that this does so much for Black folk. Well, let me tell you, as a Black person, it does not. Let me tell you that in this map, to be clear, y'all added two additional Anglo majority seats. Now, when we went through the 21 maps, you added 2 Anglo majority seats, and now you're adding 2 more Anglo majority seats, and then you've decided that you are going to pack and crack, and that is the language that I am going to use because that is the legal language. And I also just want to remind y'all really quickly that it does not look good when you take every economic engine out of my district and then tell me that I am supposed to sit here and be so happy because you added Black folk from a whole other community. When you want to talk about monoliths and whether or not they exist, this idea that you just take people and move them around. I have 200,000 people who were never in my district, and my district is 766,000. Playing move minorities around so that you can somehow claim that this is nothing but partisanship. The only way that you get here is by making sure that you trample upon the rights and the liberties and the voices of minorities. So let me give you a few facts about the state of Texas. The state of Texas only has 39% Anglos, yet somehow under this map, we are going to have somewhere near 60 something, almost 70% of these seats are going to be chosen by Anglos. If we were looking for fairness and to follow the Voting Rights Act, you'd have 15 Latino opportunity seats, 15 Anglo seats. You then have 4 African-American opportunity seats. Then you'd have 2 Asian opportunity seats, and the other 2 seats would belong to coalitions because we are a majority minority state where over 60% of this population is people of color. So if you want to do what's fair and right under the Voting Rights Act, as well as if you say that this Fifth Circuit Court case matters and somehow changes everything, my question to you is, when are y'all gonna do y'all's maps? Because you did your maps in 2021 and then the case came out, and I haven't seen y'all talk about the fact that you're gonna redistrict the House and the Senate.
Representative Pearson, you recognize the question panel.
Thank you, Chairman. My question is for Congresswoman Crockett. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your thoughts on the map. I hear you. I understand But you did mention something in your testimony that I think is worth drawing out a little bit on. You mentioned previously the 2 Anglo seats from before.
Yes.
Who are currently in those seats?
One of them is Lloyd Doggett and the other one is Wesley Hunt.
And does that mean one is a Democrat seat and one is a Republican seat?
Correct.
Okay. So the Democrat seat elected a white man.
Yes.
And the Republican seat elected a black man.
Yes.
Okay. And then so today you're concerned about the new Anglo seats and the.
Now, see, the reason she's bringing this up, and I'm talking about Katrina Pearson, is that Jasmine made Jazzy Jazz. Yeah, she made everything about ethnicity. She made everything about, that's what they do on the Democrat side. I know we're tired of it, but that's what she did. She literally said that. And she just brought up, okay, so these seats, one is a Democrat and that person is white and the Republican is black. So, because she's making this about color, she's going to get her A squared handed to her. Wait for it.
Assumption that you're making is that it's going to lead to more Anglo representation.
It is.
Okay.
Because so to be clear, because I may have not been clear, these seats are not about who gets elected. They're about who gets to choose who is elected. And so, my district, while it is an African-American opportunity seat, it is an opportunity for African-Americans to choose their representation. But they don't have to elect a black person. We have a similar seat in Memphis, Tennessee, that historically was always represented by the Ford family. Harold Ford Sr. and Harold Ford Jr. had it, but now it is a white man that is representing that black seat. So it's not about the faces of the seats. It's about who gets to choose who's in the seat. And that doesn't mean that they're going to choose their own race. As you see, 2 Anglo majority seats, one went for a white candidate, one went for a black candidate. It's not about us as candidates. It's about the people that get to do the choosing.
Well, I would argue that based on the testimony that we've heard over the last week or so, it's both. We're hearing racism all over the place. We're hearing, people want to choose people who look like them, which apparently has been happening. And I just wanted to make it clear that, something that has not been said yet is that there are minority Republicans. I mean, there is a Black and Hispanic Republican on the dais. And so I just don't think it's fair to just assume that the Anglo districts are going to lead to more Anglo representation.
Again,
those were your words, so I'm just
I apologize if that is how it was interpreted, but my clarification is that when we're talking about the law and the Voting Rights Act, it's never been based upon who it is that gets elected. It's based upon who it is that gets to choose who is elected.
And so on that note, with these new lines, political performance was taken in consideration.
That is what we've heard from the bill author, yes.
And in previous hearings, I mentioned specifically that in the state of Texas, President Trump did win a majority of the Hispanic voters in the state. And just to broaden that even further, those are the numbers. President Trump did win the majority of the Hispanic votes in the state. In fact, he flipped, I believe it was 10 counties in the state. So don't you think that is reflective of this map, this proposed map, that the minorities who are here with the new minority districts that have been created, it is reflective?
No, Representative, I don't.
And so you don't agree with the new minority Hispanic seats? Because
I don't agree with this map.
Okay.
Now, if you guys were listening to that, she was like, so the minorities are the one who chose. President Trump flipped some districts. These are minorities who chose. More Hispanic people went with Trump. And she's trying to make it Jasmine Crockett is trying to make it about a white versus other people, but then it was other minorities that helped President Trump get in the White House. So she calmed her down with her calm demeanor. Let me calm the demon down, because she's gnashing her teeth right now. She's gnashing her teeth. But yeah, she got her butt handed to her. And I just want to go over a little bit more about these Democrats. They are acting like, they just really just get on my nerves really, really bad. But I'm going to share with you an actual clip right here. This is a clip here. And you guys, I want you to enjoy this clip. And it is Texas governor orders arrest of Democrats who left the state. Okay, he orders their arrest.
State police to locate and arrest Democratic lawmakers who left the state to block a vote on a controversial redistricting plan. The move follows civil arrest warrants issued by the Texas House for the absent members. The Democrats left Texas on Sunday and traveled to Illinois in an effort to prevent a vote on a Republican-backed plan to redraw the state's congressional map. The proposed changes could give Republicans 5 additional seats in the 2026 midterm elections. The redistricting push has the backing of President Donald Trump. Governor Abbott criticized the Democrats' actions, accusing them of abandoning their responsibilities. He said, by fleeing the state, Texas House Democrats are holding hostage critical legislation to help flood victims and deliver property tax relief. Abbott directed the Department of Public Safety, DPS, to find, arrest, and return any lawmakers who had abandoned their duty to Texans. The redistricting plan was introduced during a special legislative session called by Abbott after Trump urged Texas Republicans to redraw the map. The new map would strengthen GOP control and could cut Democratic seats in the state from 13 to 8. Critics say the move is a clear case of gerrymandering, redrawing voting districts to benefit one political party. Outnumbered in the legislature, Texas Democrats left the state to break quorum and stall the bill.
Okay, let me just say, now, you guys know gerrymandering has typically been done by Democrats. If you were to look at the state of Illinois, it is just all kind of ways discombobulated because the Democrats have done everything in their power to make sure they maintain that state. They've done it in New York, they've done it in California. That's what they do. But yet, when something goes against them, again, both sides do this. And from what I'm understanding, this is legal for Texas to be able to do. But what they just did by leaving, vacating their seat, they could lose their seat. Really, Jasmine is in trouble. Jazzy Jazz is in trouble of losing her seat. So will she still be getting all that money to pay for her wigs and her tire tread eyelashes? Is she going to be, able to do that now? Because, those wigs can cost a lot of money. I'm just saying, what is she going to do? Is she still going to get that dark money? My goodness.
Lawmakers who remain absent can be fined $500 for each day they skip the session.
And I'd like to say welcome to all of my Texas colleagues. We want you to know that you are welcomed in Illinois. Stay as long as you want. Whatever we can do to make your stay more comfortable, we want to do that because we believe in what you're doing. You are courageous and we are here to support you. What you're doing and what they're trying to do in Texas affects you guys, but it affects the whole country.
It's not just Texas. It really is the United States of America, because if they succeed in Texas, they will take this to other states. They will take this to the county court level. They will take this to the commissioners, the school boards. They will take this across the length and breadth of the country, but they'll do it if we only stand by and watch them. But if we take a stand, we can stop them. That's what we're doing today. We're taking a stand and we're going to prevent them from going forward.
And so I'm very proud to stand united with my Democratic colleagues. Look, one thing I do know is that Texas House Democrats know how to fight. We've been in these fights before. We've had to fight every single day when we're in regular session. And so we have our sleeves are rolled up and we're ready to take this fight wherever it's going to take us, because our communities, our state, and our nation is definitely worth fighting for.
Look, I didn't run for office to walk out of the Capitol, but I also didn't run for office to stand by while democracy is stolen in broad daylight. Texas Democrats broke quorum because sometimes the only way to uphold your oath is to refuse to play along with the rigged game. Let's be clear. This special session was supposed to be about saving lives after a tragedy. A cabin full of 8-year-old girls was washed away in the middle of the night. Families called 911 only to hear that help wasn't coming. At the end of the day, 137 Texans lost their lives.
He's gonna sit up here and act like he actually cares. They just really don't. I'm just telling you right there. And Ronique Blackman, thank you so much for joining us. You guys just be very kind to the new people, and you guys are. I don't even ever have to worry about that. And you are amongst family, Ronique, and everyone else. We have an Agnes, we have her here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. And Cindy, Maya, I believe I've seen you here before. Dwayne Harris. I just want to say hey to everybody. Jackie Andrews. You guys are so welcome and so thankful that you're here. But I got to say something. The Democrats are going to sit up here and people, let me just say this. This is going to sound maybe a little bit arrogant, but conservative people tend to know more about politics. That's why we vote the way we vote. People who vote demon rat tend to know less about what is actually going on. Not that they're not intelligent, not that, it's just that they believe the news and they believe that the news is actually telling them the truth when it is actually not. People don't know. If they were to listen to the demon rats, they would say, yeah, those Republicans are being racist. They're redrawing. They're not supposed to do that when it is actually legal to do so. And Democrats have more of a history doing that. Republicans are just now starting to fight back. They're starting to fight back. And if you look at what the Democrats have planned for this country, let me just say, see my video about Islam from earlier today. Okay, I pushed it out at 6 p.m. Eastern. Guys, I'm telling you, all the ones that I'm aware of that are Muslim, that come from another country that belong to the Nation of Islam or who practice Islam, they're Democrat politicians. They're not. I didn't see any Republicans unless I skipped over it, unless I'm not aware. You've got Ilhan Omar, Ron Kwame Mamdani, you've got Omar Fattah, you've got Rashida Tlaib and others. They are all Democrats and they are all Muslim. And if you saw my video, there is this woman who is from Iran. She can tell you the mindset and what they have done in Europe. She said it's coming this way. So we need to look at that. She gave a stark warning to America. And in New York, they given out their Islamic prayer call over a loudspeaker so everybody can hear 5 times a day. This is what the demon rats have planned for this country. So when they want to talk about, Republicans, all this negative stuff about Republicans, I'm not saying the party is perfect. They have their own. We have our issues on the conservative side. We really do. But they're nowhere, in my opinion, nowhere near as bad as the Democrats. They literally race bait and do nothing for their constituents. What good is it if you get someone who looks like me, who sold their soul to keep me voting for a party that is doing me and my family absolutely no good? What good is that to vote for someone who looks like you, who is there to actually hurt you? That makes no sense. And people got to get out of this thing. And I'm going to tell you, the Democrats played that game of getting to the preachers, and preachers tell their congregation, and that is how they got to the Black voter. That is how they did it. Through emotionalism, because people get emotional in church and then they believe their pastor. And in the Black community, a lot of times, not me personally, but we tend to really praise our pastors. If you want to get into a fight with someone, talk bad about their pastor. Okay, they will literally lose it on you. So please don't do that. I mean, I'm behind, I'm here behind this microphone. I'm in my home. I would never do this to someone who goes to Jamal Bryant's church. I talk a lot of junk behind this microphone because I still think he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He ain't even in sheep's clothing. He in women's clothing, looking like he's starting to trend that direction. But I want to share one more thing with you guys. You guys remember the Cincinnati people, downtown Cincinnati, after a music festival? There was some kind of verbal altercation, and there was this mob that ended up stomping these people into oblivion. And this man walked up behind this woman and sucker punched her and knocked her out. She looked like she was dead, y'all. And here is Jesse Waters talking to, her name is Holly. She was the woman who got knocked out cold. It was so scary looking. I mean, that was just so scary looking. I'm going to find this clip with Jesse Waters, so you guys can see that. It is one of the most scariest things. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Here it is.
The single mom, viciously beaten by the Cincinnati mob, is breaking her silence.
I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for all of the love and support. It's been very, very hard, and I'm still recovering. I still have a very bad brain trauma. And it's thank you, everyone.
But not everybody feels bad for her. City Council President Victoria Park said the victims were begging for a beatdown. Despicable. Now the rest of the city leaders are demanding she resign. Vivek Ramaswamy took a different approach, and he personally called the traumatized mom, and now he's holding a town hall with residents.
I had people criticizing me for having the gall to call one of the victims. And one of the things that shocked me was 3 days after the attack, Holly told me that not a single elected statewide or even local elected official had called her at that point in time. And it just, I think, shows a little bit of out of touch leadership that we have to get back in touch with who we're actually here to represent.
All right, guys, there you go. There's that. And so that woman had been beaten so bad. I saw a close up of her. Let me read what MAGA Tamara, what you're saying. You're saying, I don't know another president that would donate his pay like Trump is doing, on top of that, paying for a beautiful ballroom for the White House. Yes, I know. He's just really, you know, I'm just happy about a lot of things with the way things are going. You know, stock is up and you know, the border is secure. It takes time to fix this mess that the previous administration had put us in. I don't think some people realize that we were really spared by President Trump getting in the White House and not Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a puppet on a string. She literally cannot think first. She is just going to repeat. Tell me what to say, y'all. Had a teleprompter ready. Okay, I get a bug in my ear. What'd you say now? I mean, this is literally what this woman is like. Okay, literally. But I am going to show you a close-up picture just so you can know how horrendous these people were to Holly. Now, look at this picture. Look at her eye. Remember how she looked? My gosh, she was knocked out. We do not condone violence. That is horrible what they did to her. Horrible. You just don't blindside someone and do that and knock her out like that. She looked like she had left this world. It looked like soul left her body. I was like, I hope that woman is going to be okay. And she says she's suffering from brain trauma. That is not okay. And that was a couple. And she was there trying to help her husband or her boyfriend, whoever it was. And she got sucker punched by a man. These people got demons. And I know what the problem is. I don't want to say it, but I got to be honest because I like to be 100% real with you all. There is such a push to get us to hate one another based on ethnicity. There is such a push. And you got some Black people, and they liberal. I'm just being honest. We got to call it what it is. I don't sugarcoat anything. If I got to say what I got to say, somebody may not like it, but sometimes the truth makes people upset. Okay? Some, I didn't say all, some liberal Black people are very angry. Okay? They are very angry. And I see how some white people walk on eggshells. I was in the gym today. I went to the sauna, and there was a young white female in there, and I smiled at her. And yes, I go to the sauna, y'all. I'm trying to lose some pounds here. And she was like, is it okay if my feet sit right here? And I was like, yeah, you're fine. You know, you fine. And that's like the second or third time that someone white acts like they better be extra nice. They seem like they're scared, like they're shaking. I'm just like, please. It's okay. You fine, girl. I'm like that. I don't have any hatred for anyone. No. I love everybody, even the people that hate me. I get them told in the comment section. I got to straighten them out a little bit. Y'all pray for me. But yes, but I love everybody. So don't think, that Linda B got any kind of racist. No. But I just call it like I see it. I call things how I see them based on my experiences. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat for you guys. I'm trying to stay Christian because sometimes I want to let out a bad word. So pray for me. I'm trying to be a good Christian. Y'all need to pray for me because these people call me names in comment sections sometimes. So y'all just pray for me, okay? But I'm glad that you guys joined me again tonight for tonight's live. I'll be here tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time again. Don't forget to like this video, comment, share, subscribe. If you haven't already, hit all notifications. Make sure you hit that thumbs up because that's what makes the video go out further into YouTube. So guys, take your time now, hit the thumbs up. Please go see both of my videos that I pushed out today. It is wild what is going on with Islam right now, and how there are so many countries that are now majority Muslim that used to be majority Christian. Iraq, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, Egypt. We know these as Muslim countries. Who would have thought that a long time ago? And it makes sense that they were predominantly Christian because when the gospel spread, you know, those countries are around Israel and everything began in Israel. And then there comes Islam and they conquered the countries and made everybody do, you know, forced conversions or people willingly converted. So we see that positions of power have these people who are not even from this country, who are Muslim, who have positions in our government at the local, state, and federal level. And this I am concerned about. And they are right now spewing out hatred against America, and they serve in our government. What in the entire hell? Okay, I just had to say that. I just had to say it. But I want to thank you guys for joining me on tonight's live stream. I'll be here tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America. And as I always say, march on, warriors. Good night, everybody.